like many of you, I love carrying a revolver. I don't think revolvers are outdated as well. Having a solid 357 Magnum in your pocket, you do just fine with that as a self-defense weapon. And I believe, especially in today's world, there's so many more modern revolvers. Clearly, there's a huge market for revolvers. So I want to take a look specifically at concealed carry revolvers. Those are, to me, the most valuable revolvers. A concealed carry weapon is my all-time favorite kind of gun. That's why I got into guns, because I wanted to start carrying them. And a revolver is a great choice. So I want to take a look at the top 10 best concealed carry revolvers. Now, I will say before I get going on this list is in no particular order. As well as I'd like to add that most of them are going to be in the 357 Magnum range, although there are a few exceptions here. Number 1, Smith & Wesson 686. Most would argue Smith & Wesson 686 is one of the greatest revolvers ever made. And having it in a 357, I definitely recommend it with the 2.5-inch barrel if you're going to carry it. I also know that the 686 has different styles of grips. Definitely get that smaller grip for carry as well. I also recommend, especially with any of these 357 Magnums in the smaller frames, which is not the 686, but I got some smaller frame ones, that you practice in 38 Special. Number 2, the Ruger LCR. Now the Ruger LCR, I recommend getting it in 357 Magnum, but this is a tiny little revolver. You might consider using 38 Special plus P, but again, I definitely recommend practicing in 38 Special. The Ruger LCR, Ruger did a fantastic job in the technology of this revolver to allow much less recoil than most revolvers of the same size. The Ruger LCR has always been one of my all-time favorite pocket revolvers out there. Number 3, the Kimber K6S. Kimber K6S is the smallest frame 6-shot 357 Magnum on the market. It's also one of the toughest. It took the industry by storm when it first came out a few years ago. I'm also a big fan. Carrying one of these with the 2-inch barrels is really about as good as you're going to get when it comes to concealed carrying a revolver. Number 4, the North American Arms revolver in 22 Magnum. Now you might kind of say, well, wait a second, why are you putting a 22 Magnum revolver on this list? Because it's so darn tiny. There are so many situations where you just simply can't carry a 357 Magnum revolver. And this thing is so small that you have no excuse not to carry a gun. It's about the size of your keychain. It's really just a tiny little revolver. You know, again, it's 22 Magnum, but 22 Magnum is a pretty decent self-defense round. It's definitely better than nothing. And if you're going to carry a revolver, you have no excuse not to have this on you, regardless of what you are wearing or where you are at. Number 5, the Smith & Wesson 642 Airweight in 38 Special plus P. Now, the Airweight is similar to the Ruger LCR. However, you definitely feel it a lot more than the LCR. It's an easier gun to carry because it's a little lighter, but it's not very fun to shoot, so I'm going to give you the heads up on that. But it's a fantastic defensive weapon. It's a 5-shot 38 Special plus P, and extremely lightweight, extremely small, very, very carryable. Love the 642 Airweight. Number 6, the Colt King Cobra. Now, when the Colt King Cobra was reintroduced, I mean, come on, it's a Colt King Cobra. This thing is fantastic. It is wildly successful. It's definitely going to be one of your best options when it comes to concealed carrying a revolver. Number 7, the Chiappa Rhino 20DS. Now, Chiappa Rhino, I put it on this list for 3 reasons. Innovation, innovation, and innovation. Having that barrel lower down, it allows you much less recoil, making it a much more operable 357 Magnum. The Chiappa Rhino is a strange looking revolver, but I highly recommend it. Number 8, the EAA Vindicator. Now, the EAA Vindicator is a revolver that I've been carrying for about a decade now. I love this revolver. I got one for my daughter when she moved off to college. It's a great 6-shot 357 Magnum revolver that's smaller than most 6-shot 357 Magnum revolvers, Made in Germany, extremely affordable, which is why a lot of people will write it off their list. But I've been carrying it for a long time. I haven't found anything I like better. It's a fantastic 357 Magnum revolver. Number 9, the Ruger GP100. Some would argue this is one of Ruger's best guns ever made. The GP100 is a very, very carryable 357 Magnum. I'll also say make sure you get the smaller barrel as well as the smaller grip. It has a lot of different grip frames for carrying reasons only. But the Ruger GP100, excellent, excellent choice. And finally, number 10, the Smith & Wesson Model 66 Combat Magnum. This is a tank of a revolver. It's, in my opinion, one of the best revolvers ever made. I recently did a video, said if I could only own one gun, what would it be? And I ultimately came down to the Smith & Wesson Model 66 Combat Magnum because it is tough, durable, and will last a lifetime. Very good revolver. So there you go. There's what I believe to be the top 10 best concealed carry revolvers on the market today. I'm sure there's a few I missed. Put them in the comments below. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.